2, test flight number 1. The craft powered by 447 Rotax. Pilot Smoke Hatfield. Full power. Rolling. 75. 100. Takeoff was after about 150 feet. We've got a good healthy climb out. Everything looks okay. Throttle back now, making a couple of gentle turns. This flight was to test the rigging, CG, brakes, and other hazardous material. Everything looks okay so far. It's good. Looks just like little bird number 1 as far as handling. Good and stable. It was a nice pass, gave us a good overhead view. There he comes. Making some turns, some shallow turns. Everything seems to be good and stable. Behind the tree. Time finding him again. But behind a tree, couldn't see him. Look at the nose up attitude. Real good angle of attack there. Pretty high. Now he's leveling out. Feeling the aircraft out. We're going to try a couple of little stall characteristics. There it seems to be mushing. Now back up again. A little bit higher angle. Now down. Things seem to be going pretty well. He's had a good lengthy test flight so far on this little bird number 2. He mentioned that on the initial taxi test that it seemed to float a little bit more and get off a little bit quicker than little bird number 1. Milton attributes that to the new airfoil that he used on this specific aircraft. Looks like he's setting up for his initial approach over the woods. He's going to make another pass for us. Unless he's setting up he's going to show us how slow it flies, I guess. Messing around a little bit. I needed to see where the runway was. Power. everything seemed to be real stable. Milton's usually pretty cautious about that sort of stuff, so especially uphill with no place to go on the other side of the runway. The aircraft must be performing fairly well. You can see the angle of attack. The camera is sitting fairly level ground. So you can get a good idea, it's on a tripod, so you can get a good idea of the flying angle of the aircraft. The aircraft flies nose up most of the time when in reference to the ground. Yeah, I see another ultralight out there someplace. Now it looks like Milton's going to set up his approach. That was Flavian Arsenault and his Flight Star. And this time it looks like he's setting up his approach. Angle looks good. Oh, short, 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 short. Stop by the taxiway. How about that? Bird flight test number 2. Little bird number 2. Old Farron's up there in the Pioneer Flight Star. Try to get some air-to-air photos. Air-to-air video. Note says the control pressures are extremely light. The aircraft mush is about 40, has a nice stall, brakes pretty clean. A little nose heavy. He increased the spring pressure on the elevons. Give it a little bit better nose response. Seems to be flying fairly nose high. It's cruising at about 58, 6,000 and indicating about 60, 65. And like all good pilots, they're back on the other side again. The half windshield works fairly well. It doesn't need the canopy over. Rudder's fairly ineffective. He did slip it a little bit. Doesn't do as much as what he thought it would in roll characteristics to help the elevon. Pitch is fairly soft, and roll is even a little bit softer on the elevons. He's talking about sealing the gaps. About an 1.5, 2-inch gap in the elevons would probably help the sensitivity of those two a little bit. gentle on it. Kind of hit 40 and starts to mush. Up. Lights are here. It looks like milk's coming back in now for a gentle landing. Like the airplane wants to pull to the right. There's Ralph Herkenroder and Don Jetter and John Jones. Bird number 2, flight test number 2.
Good takeoff there. Gets off quick. Yeah.
So what the heck do you do now? You got one that flies good, haven't you? Ain't this one better than the other?
What do you like better about it? Yeah, of course you should. Put that motor on that one there and try it.
Here's a picture of Danny Holmes taking a picture of Milton.
Yeah, believe how it blows up.
There's a picture of Danny Holmes taking a picture of me taking a picture of Danny Holmes taking